Hello, my name's Mel, welcome to my world, and for those of you that are new to my channel, it's all about self-built campervans and campervan related stuff. So if that's something that interests you, then please do consider subscribing to my channel. Now today's video I'm going to answer a question that I get asked quite often, and I did promise my regular viewers that I would do this little experiment. Well, actually it's quite a big experiment. I'll need to disconnect all the wiring in my van to try this out. So what I'm going to do is try and see if a Jackery power station will run my entire van. That includes my diesel heater, my fridge, my ceiling fan, all my lights, even got a 240 volt TV. But will the Jackery power station handle my entire van? Will it be able to keep up? Now just a real quick heads up, Amazon are running a special Prime Day promotion on the 21st and 22nd of June where you can save an absolute fortune on products such as this. They're offering 20% off. So do check out my Amazon storefront where I've put together a whole bunch of campervanning goodies for your shopping pleasure, and hopefully, just hopefully, you'll be able to bag yourself a bargain. I'll put a link to my storefront in the description of this video. Also, Amazon are offering 40% off of some of their products as well, so well worth checking out. Right, let's get on with this experiment. Now to try this experiment I had to go out and buy some separate cables, and these cables are only available on Amazon. Jackery don't do an adapter cable, so I want to use the original solar panels that were on my van. I don't want to use a Jackery solar panel because they're not waterproof. So to connect up my Jackery to my solar panels on my roof I had to buy this adapter cable. Jackery don't do one, like I say. So this, I got this off of Amazon. I simply typed in Anderson to solar panel cable, and this is what I come up with. It wasn't expensive, it was about 15 quid. So that's my solar panels sorted out. I also bought an extension lead for my solar panels. Look at the difference in the thickness of wire. But it doesn't really matter because my solar panels, I've got two 160 watt solar panels, and they're both, I think, 23 volts. So 160 divided by 23 works out just over 6 amps. So I'm pretty sure that's going to handle 6 amps. I think this cable's for like, yeah, it's overkill really. So 6 amps, that's going to handle that easily. But before I wire up the solar panels to the Jackery, I need to wire up the Jackery to my van. And to do that, because the Jackery has a 12 volt outlet, I bought myself a 12 volt extension lead. Again, this wire is quite thin. It's only rated to 10 amps, which is okay because the maximum output on the Jackery, or any power station for that matter that I've seen, is only 10 amps anyway. So if all my van draws more than 10 amps, the Jackery will cut out, which is a bit of a worry, especially if you're running a diesel heater, because if it goes over, the diesel heater will cut out and it's bad for the heater. They need to go through a cycle to cool down. If they don't go through that cycle, you can actually destroy the diesel heater because everything gets too hot. All the circuit boards and plastic and stuff inside will melt. So that's the one doubtful thing in my mind about using these is on a diesel heater, because if they do cut out, it's going to destroy your diesel heater. But like I say, this is only an experiment to answer that burning question: can a campervan be run using a portable power station? So without further ado, I'm going to disconnect my leisure batteries, cut this plug off of this, and then reconnect this wire to my main fuse board. So yeah, basically it's quite simple really, should be quite simple. I need to do a bit of wiring, but yeah, disconnect my leisure batteries, connect this up to my main fuse board, and that way I can plug the Jackery in to my main fuse board, and that should power my entire van, I think. I think that's how it's going to work. Right, so let's get on and do this. Let's see what happens. Now bear with me because I am sitting on my fuse board. My fuse board is underneath this seat, and I'll need to take everything out. All my clothes are under here, so I need to drag everything out, disconnect my batteries for safety reasons obviously, and then wire this up. So do give this video a thumbs up because I'm going to put a lot of work into doing this. Right, back in a minute. So there you are, there's my main fuse box. As you can see, I don't have a lot going on because I don't have a big inverter in this van. I do only use 12 volts. This is my main cable. I've disconnected it from there. So this is my main power cable coming from my leisure batteries. This is now dead. I've switched it off at the my main plug up here. I've connected up the earth cable. As you can see, it's really thin. I'm a bit dubious. Well, I don't really want to leave this switched on overnight, I'll be honest. Although this is rated at 10 amps, I think if I was going to do this on a permanent basis, I would definitely upgrade this cable. I'd definitely use a thicker cable, probably twice as thick as this. So yeah, if you're thinking about doing this, if you're thinking about running a camper van off of a power pack, definitely just buy this plug and then buy your own cable, wire it up yourself. Yeah, I wouldn't like to leave this on a permanent basis. Right, so that's all wired up. I'm going to lay that up there, put my seat back on, and then get the Jackery out of the box, plug it in and see what happens. Let's just get this out of the box. I've got to be careful because my back is still quite painful from my little accident, my little injury I should say. Right, I don't think we need any of that in there. Because I'm cutting the top of my head off. Right, let's get this out of the box. It is a bit heavy. Oh. And I've got to be a bit careful. Now don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. All in the name of science. Let's put this up there so you can see it. Let's turn this off. Now everything's off in my van, the lights, everything. So as soon as I plug this in, oh dear, it should. Right. Fingers crossed, if I switch this on, the lights should come back on. Yeah, there you go. You even heard my gas alarm go beep. So you are. So standing still with just my lights on, I'm drawing 8 watts. So what's that in amps? Let's get my calculator. I don't have it in amps, why have it in watts? Right, okay. Calculator. So to work out how many watts it is, we do amps rather. Oh yeah, it's got 13 now. That's because of my gas alarm. My gas alarm's got a heater element in it, so that's gonna get hot and then it'll come back down again. But anyway, 13 watts, so it's not even an amp I don't think. 13 watts divided by 12 volts equals 0.9, so that's not even 1 amp. So we're okay there. So that's just my lights and my gas alarm are drawing less than 1 amp. So let's see what happens if I turn my fridge on. My fridge has been off. So let's turn my fridge on. Let's see what happens. There we go. Wait for the car to go by and we can hear it running. You can hear that hum. The fridge is working. That's a nice thing about these fridges as well. When you're not, because I haven't been in my van for a while, you can fit that like that and it stops the fridge closing, so that way the air can circulate inside the fridge and it stops it going horrible. But now we're back in the van. I'll be moving back into my van very shortly. Let's have a look at how many watts my fridge is drawing. Now this will be maximum because I've literally just turned my fridge on. It's drawing 50 watts. There you go, so 50 watts. How many amps is that? It's getting exciting, isn't it? 50 watts. So it's a really simple equation. Let me just show you what the equation is. So we're going to go 50 watts divided by 12 volts equals 4 amps. There you go. So only 4 amps, so we've still got another, well, 4.1. So we've got another 6 amps to play with. So what happens if I turn my ceiling fan on? There we go, let's turn it on full. There we go, so my ceiling fan is now on full. What's it going to go up to? It shot up to 79. There goes my gas heater, gas alarm. That's a gas alarm letting me know that it's ready, it's functioning. 80 watts. 81. Yeah, it's gone back to 80, so we'll call it 80. Right, 80. So 80 divided by divided by 12. 6.6. What's the maximum? Yeah, the maximum would be 12.10. Yeah, it's 120. So there you go, that's easy, isn't it? We're allowed 120 watts. Right, now I did say I was going to try one thing at a time, so before I turn my heater on, I'm actually going to turn this off. I'm going to turn my fan off, I'm going to turn my fridge off as well before I turn my diesel heater on, because the diesel heater is going to be the one thing that does draw a lot of power. Now at this point in the experiment, I'm thinking maybe, just maybe, it would be better to have 2 or even 3 12-volt sockets rather than just the one. I mean, after all, there are two 40-volt sockets. I mean, me personally, I'd like to see just one of these 240 sockets and maybe 4 12-volt outlets for people such as me, like in camper vans and boats and stuff. Yeah, I think more 12-volt sockets would definitely be better. Right, let's carry on. Oh, I can hear the pump kicking in. There we go, she's working. So there you go, it's a bit sketchy. I mean, I don't know if I'd want to use a Jackery to power a diesel heater. Not a 5 kilowatt one anyway. And guys, I can tell you this now, this cable is actually feeling warm. So I would definitely 100% not use this cable. Do not use this cable. It is, I can feel it getting warm. Maybe it's because of the length, I don't know. But that should not get warm to touch like that. It is actually getting quite warm. I'm sure once that diesel heater gets going, the wattages should go down. But yeah. If you're going to try this at home, then do make sure you get a thicker cable. Don't use this thin cable. I can't stress that enough. Right, so now the diesel heater's up to speed, I'm going to switch my fridge back on. No, I won't, in case it cuts out, because if it cuts out, it will destroy my diesel heater. Let's take a look at this. So my diesel heater's pulling 47 watts now. I'll switch it off. I don't like it, I really don't like this cable getting warm. So now my diesel heater is running down. You can hear it running down, so the diesel heater slows down and it cools itself down before switching off. This is the one thing that does worry me about running a diesel heater with a Jackery or lithium batteries for that matter, because the Chinese cheap diesel heaters do actually have a sensor in them that senses when the battery's getting low. When your leisure battery gets below a certain voltage, I can't remember what it is, please forgive me, I think it's about 11.6 volts. If your leisure battery gets below 11.6 volts, the diesel heater will automatically shut itself off to save it from being cut off all of a sudden. But with lithium batteries, as I understand, when they go flat, they just go off. There's no warning, they shut themselves off, there's no warning. But with lead acid batteries and AGM batteries, you do get that warning because the voltage level does drop. So the Chinese diesel heater knows that your batteries are going flat and it turns itself off. Otherwise, if you suddenly switch the power off to a diesel heater and they overheat, basically, if you just switch them off, everything inside melts and they destroy themselves. Right, so now we know that the Jackery can power everything in my van, including my diesel heater, just about. I'm going to now connect up the solar panel just to see how much power we can actually draw from it, from the solar panel. And to do that, I need this cable. And that plugs into there, hopefully. Now this is an aftermarket cable, like I said earlier. Jackery don't supply these, you have to buy these yourself. And to plug my solar panels into this, I've got these extension leads as well. Where's my cutters? Oh, there they are. So back in a minute. I'll just wire all this up to my solar panels on my roof, and I'll show you what I've done. So up on the roof of my van, here we go. I've plugged in this extension lead to one of my solar panels. The other solar panel I've left connected. Now my solar panels are 160 watt, so the Jackery should be able to handle that quite well. And this cable, I'm simply going to run this cable down the side of my van. This is an experiment after all. I'm not going to wire it up permanently, so it's going to come down the side of my van, through my side window. It's quite a nice day. It's a little bit overcast. Let's see what we get out of it. Now before I plug this in to my solar panel, I'm going to connect this all up. So this is the other end of the solar cables. I've connected these up to my Anderson adapter, but before I plug my Anderson adapter into my Jackery, I just want to check the polarity by using my multimeter. The last thing I want to do is have reverse polarity. After all, these cables aren't... Yep, there we go. I've got 18 volts and it's showing positive polarity. So at least we know the polarity is round the right way. I really wanted to check that just before I plugged it in. Alright, so let's plug that in, get it round the right way, and we'll see what we're getting from our solar panel, if anything. Oh, little blue lights come on. 73, 76, 80. Now that's not a lot of solar power, I've got to admit, and the sun has come out. Oh, a bit of sun's come out now. We're up to 100 watts. There you go, 105. Look at this, I'll show you this because you won't believe me. Well, there you go. Now my solar's bringing in 103 watts, 104. It's fluctuating. It's around about 100 watts of solar power coming in from my 160 watt solar panel. But then my 160 watt solar panel is flat on my roof and it is quite a cloudy day. But to be drawing in 100 watts, I'm pretty pleased with that. I'll take that all day long. Well, there you go, my fridge is running, my lights are on, my solar panels are plugged into the Jackery is getting charged. It is running my entire van. So my conclusion is, yes, you can run an entire camper van using a Jackery power station. Now you don't need to have a big 1000, they do a smaller 500 and they even do a 240, which is even cheaper. The only benefits of having this 1000 is you do get a bigger inverter, but you also get a bigger batteries. Therefore, if you do get a period of cloudy days, you get more grace, you get more power stored in your battery, therefore you can go longer without using solar. So I think you can probably use the 500 as well, but I would recommend, because you're relying on solar, to get the 1000. But if your budget doesn't stretch to that, then don't worry, you just have to start your engine to charge the Jackery using the power lead that plugs into your cigarette light socket. So yeah, I reckon it's well doable, easy. Yeah, a Jackery Explorer will definitely run a camper van. Now, if you are thinking about buying a Jackery, I'm currently working out a deal with Jackery to give me a special discount code that I can then pass on to you guys, saving you even more money. It might be about 5%, but I'm trying to negotiate. I'm trying to get as much as I can, and I will put that discount code in the description of this video. So do check that. Come back to this video whenever you like. That discount code will last for as long as I'm on this planet. So there you are. Hopefully that helps you out. So to help me out, please do give me the thumbs up, and don't forget, if you're new to my channel, please do consider subscribing, and I'll see you next time.